What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna play a some audio in a minute of LeBron James, man, describing like his work ethic, describing his attention to detail, his his focus and stuff like that. Now, listening to LeBron James describe himself this way, if I didn't know any better, I would be thinking that he would be describing somebody like Kobe Bryant, because none of this stuff right here, really, I've never really associated any of this stuff with LeBron James. If you had the opportunity to watch LeBron James play throughout his career, this to me is just not LeBron James, man. And I always say that, especially if you watch a player throughout the years, like you could just see, like, oh man, this guy's been working on his jumper, or this guy has been working on his mid range, and he has developed into the kind of player who can play with his back to the basket, right? Because you know that like each year you have to come back to the sport with a different skill set, because you don't want the player that that came up short last year. You got to be better than that player that you know what I mean. The next year you come back. So if you get defeated in the playoffs, then you want to come back a better player. If you win in the playoffs, you still got to come back as a better player, because now people know what your skill set is, and they're going to be defending against that skill set. So you got to every year you got to reinvent yourself. And as a fan, it's good for fans to see, whoever their franchise ball player is, whoever their star ball player is, just to see those guys get better every year. And you can tell that they've been working on their game. And so it used to be like that. You watch Larry Bird, one year, then the next year you come back and Larry Bird, his left hand is better than it was last year. Or Magic Johnson got, his jumper has improved. Michael Jordan, his jumper has improved. But you never really saw that with LeBron James, man. And so I'm gonna play the audio. This LeBron James, I don't know what this was, some type of podcast where LeBron James was talking about well, he was there with like, it was Chad Ochocinco and a few other people. He was just talking about his game, right? And I didn't have a video, but I'm gonna play the audio, because if people just looking at him like they don't even, they're not really buying this. But he'll go to audio of what LeBron James was talking about.
Yeah, because I wanted to be the greatest basketball player to ever play. Man, I knew it wasn't gonna happen in 1, 2, 5, 10 years. Like I knew in order for me to ever be even mentioned with the greats, like I had to consistently be dominant for decades. Like that was and I already knew I had the God-given ability. But the one thing I knew that separated from me from a lot of kids when I was growing up is like my attention to detail. Like I had a level of detail when the games came and the practices came, and the commitment to like, going in before school started. School started at 8:10. I was in the weight room in the gym at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, what I'm saying, staying after, off days, I would still go in and work on my game. Like I was one of the only kids I probably was the only kid on the basketball team. My best friend Drew, because his dad was the head coach, that had a key to the high school gym that I could go at any time, and I had the code to the alarm to turn it off. So I would just go in high school days where I was just maybe watching TV too much or playing the game too much. I was like, I'm about to just go to the high school, put the gun up, and just shoot 1,000 shots, just to get the work in. And I had a level of like crazy expectations that I wish on nobody as an 18-year-old kid going into any field, from a business side, from a sports side, from a musician side. Like it was ridiculous.
All right, so it's like LeBron James is trying to control the narrative, but he's trying to control the narrative without really putting the work in. You know, and he's telling you, he's saying all this stuff about his commitment and his attention to detail. But man, like most people who have watched LeBron James play throughout the years, man, like all the stuff he described, they don't see this in LeBron James. especially in not not only do the fans not see this in LeBron James, but like his peers don't see this. That's why, LeBron James gets so much pushback on everything he says, right? Like LeBron James just came out with a statement and just said that um basketball in the 80s and in the 90s, like today's game is different, right? Almost trying to say he didn't want to go out there and say that like today's game was tougher because he really would get pushback with that, right? But he was saying because of like the pace of today's game is different. That's why you see certain injuries and stuff like that. And immediately, Kevin Garnett pushed back on that, and Paul Pierce pushed back on it with legitimate arguments, right? Kevin Garnett said that, look, man, basketball players today, they don't play basketball. They mainly just do drills with trainers, right? But if you want to be if you want your body to be conditioned to play basketball, you got to play basketball. So that's why these guys are getting these soft tissue injuries today, whereas though LeBron James contribute that to because the pace of the game, and trying to say that it's different. Michael Jordan, like I think Michael Jordan played 80 games like I don't know, like 8 or about 9 times throughout in his career. LeBron James only played 80 games once in his career, right? And so, I don't know, man. I just think that if LeBron James is allowed to push these narratives and get away with these narratives, man, I just think that the NBA is they're just setting themselves up to be a joke because people just not believing it. They just not buying into it. Especially people who have had the opportunity to see Michael Jordan play. You had the opportunity Larry Bird play. If you go back, you watch Magic and Kobe and Shaq and all those guys, Charles Barkley. If you saw those guys play, and then you look at LeBron James play, man, and like the level of dedication just is totally different. It's like not even the same. It's almost like watching somebody who like if you watch Kobe Bryant play basketball, that passion is like he loved basketball. And you get that out there on the court with Kobe Bryant because he's prideful. He was prideful in everything he did. He made sure, he just tried to make sure his game had no flaws, right? He could go left, he could go right, he could play with his back to the basket. Um, he had a mid-range game, he could shoot the three, he just did everything. Right. Whereas though LeBron James still has holes in his game, and he's been in the league for 23 years. He's been in the league for 23 years, and he still has holes in his game, and not because he's old and he's been out there for a long time. Like it's just that certain skills over the years, LeBron James has not developed certain skills. And the reason why I believe that LeBron James ain't he didn't develop those skills is because he never really had to. If he didn't, he if you needed a low post ball player or somebody to play with their back, he just go team up with Chris Bosh. Why should he develop a low post game where he could just go team up with Chris Bosh? Why should he work on his mid range game when he could go just team up with Dwayne Wade? Or why work on your 3-pointer when you could just go team up with Ray Allen? You don't have he took the shortcut. Whereas though Mike, Magic, Kobe, all those Larry Bird, they developed their game over the years. And so what happens when a player get better and develop their game over the year? Like their fans, man, the fans notice that, and the fans start to admire these guys, and you know, and they become somebody that the fans really can relate to. But if you got a guy who want to flop all the time and then get on these podcasts and say he did this and he did that, and it don't show on the court, I think I don't know what's going on with the NBA if they are allowing LeBron James to rewrite history or script history, not rewrite it, but script, history and stuff like that. To me, I just think that LeBron James is a comedian, and it makes the NBA look like a joke, and the fans just don't buy it. You have a few loyal LeBron James fans, and I think most of those people are probably young people who really don't know any better. But for the most part, when you got people who've played with him and people who know the game of basketball and fans who have been watching for a long time, man, they not really buying into this stuff right here. So yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.